Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, coming again today, you're very, very welcome. I trust you enjoyed my last video on country folk, just music legend John Denver, just his vocals, his guitar, his songwriting. It was great to pay tribute to him, absolutely. So I trust you found that one encouraging. Well, we're going to a guy that was born in 1949 in East London. But around 9-10, the family migrated to Melbourne. And this guy would become our greatest voice of all time. Now, obviously, that's subjective, but you know what? It does not get much better than this guy. The guy we're talking about is the immortal, the eternal, the ethereal, the power, just the absolute everything that is the ultimate John Farnham. So we've actually up to him today, and I think we're going to do a little 3-video series on this guy because of his absolute mountain of a voice. He deserves 3 videos and also one of the songs really best ever written. We're going to have to focus on that one next video. But around the early 1960s, a couple of bands, the Mavericks, he was actually performing with them while he was at school, and then he was asked to perform to be lead singer of Strings Unlimited, and certainly he got quite well known around Melbourne at that particular time. Of course, we know Melbourne is the music capital of Australia, the arts capital of Australia, and John Farnham was just in the right place at the right time. Of course, back then he was Johnny Farnham, and he just really became well known. In fact, EMI thought this guy's really, really good. Let's actually sign him up in 1967, which they did. And then that year, out came his very first single, Sadie, the Cleaning Lady. Now, this is a novelty song, but this song went so well. It actually got to number 1 in 1968 and stayed there for 6 weeks. In fact, in Australia, it was the highest selling single of the 1960s. And so what was meant to be a novelty song ended up becoming a force of nature, absolutely. And Johnny Farnham made this song absolutely her own. Got a couple of clips below. We've got a TV version right back at the very, very start, and then we slip forward to 1990 and the live version. Of course, John does the whole, oh, you really don't want me to sing that one, do you? And here you see him in his element, just teasing the crowd, entertaining the crowd, telling a story to the crowd, and he goes on for about 5 minutes just talking about this song, and he does eventually sing it, much to the delight of of course, when you are as big as John Farnham. Now, for people that aren't Australian, just let me say that this guy is our most loved artist. He really, really is well loved in Australia, and he is just, you see, every time we hear him sing, we just get shivers down our spines. He really is just the all-round powerhouse singer. So we've got to just pay credit to this guy. And then a little bit later, out came Everybody Ought to Sing a Song. I've got a Harry Nilsson classic, One. Didn't realise this was actually Harry Nilsson. I did Harry a little while ago, but this song actually, the album got to number 12 and the single got to number 4. We've got a live version of One below a little bit later in John's career, because this is just one of these songs that he tends to bring back because he sings it so damn well. So we've got One. Between 1969 and 1973, he was crowned Australia's King of Pop consecutively for 4 years. And so this guy was adored by the Australian public, adored by the fans. He was a bit of a teen idol. And in 1969, he came out with Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. This song was actually first released by B.J. Thomas, but John Farnham had a bit of a go of it well and did a really, really good job of it, so well. In fact, it got to number 1. So we've got Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. We've got a studio official clip of that one below. Around the early 1970s, John was actually starting to sing in a few stage musicals. It was getting quite a following on stage in musicals and making a number of TV appearances. But The King of Pop image just wasn't going to last, and it was around the mid 1970s that his popularity really was dwindling quite a bit, and he was confined to the cabaret circuit. Not the greatest of places for a singer of this caliber to be. So what was going to happen with him? Well, it all started in 1980 when he met Glenn Wheatley. Thank goodness for that. And Glenn was part of the Masters Apprentices, another iconic Australian band. And Glenn thought, well, hey, you know what? This guy really, really can sing. And what are we going to do? So he thought, well, let's get a song that really typifies John Farnham's voice. And out came the song Help. Now, Help was originally recorded by the Beatles. And I'm sure the Beatles thought, well, it's great to have someone else sing our song in a slightly more, power ballad format. And John Farnham made this song absolutely his own. We needed a song that was going to show off his voice, his incredible range, his incredible power, and his just incredible ability just to be able to tweak the edges and make it absolutely his own. I do remember back in around this time, actually things weren't so good for John Farnham at this point. I think Help was really what was happening. And I remember him singing a television performance of this one at a telethon. There was just something about his performance. He really, really was pleading for help with that performance. We've got a couple of versions here. We've got a version at a Royal Gala performance in 1980, and Bert Newton, the guy up on stage, introducing him, saying he has transformed from teen pop to adult contemporary. And it had not been an easy road for John Farnham, absolutely, to do that. John Farnham really was very, very down on his luck. He actually was almost bankrupt at one point. Glenn actually came to the fore and released Help. And things just started to look up just a little bit more for John Farnham at this point, but not quite yet. We had a little bit more to go, a little bit more history yet. We've got a couple of versions of Help. We've got a live version back in 1980. Then we've got him forward in his solo career with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, and just watch how iconic this performance is. Just watch this voice. Just watch it. Just listen to it. Just get completely immersed in it, because it's absolutely stunning. And so we've got a couple of versions of Help, and I think John was just being really, really honest here. I think this is where the life was at. Help. Please help me. Please, please help. I need something. And I think Glenn saw that, and he thought, well, hang on. I think let's, people do know John Farnham. They kind of remember him a little bit. Let's get him back. And so Help really catapulted John Farnham just into the public consciousness just that little bit more. In fact, it was around 1982 when Glenn Shorrock left the immortal Little River Band that they thought, well, hang on, we need another lead vocalist. Who'd they get? John Farnham. Now, John was kind of the obvious choice for the Little River Band. We needed someone who could sing really, really well. Even though Glenn Shorrock had a more homely voice to him, we needed someone that could just really take LRB to that next step. And John Farnham did that with songs like The Other Guy and Down on the Border. Little River Band kind of got a new lease of life with John Farnham. He did release 3 albums with them, but it was a bit of a tainted relationship in many, many ways. John didn't really have any say in anything. He just had to sing the songs. But I think John, being ever the professional, just thought, well, hang on, okay, well, I'll just sing then. And why not? I'm not doing anything else at the moment, so I might as well sing with one of Australia's best bands of all time, really. And so he did release 3 albums with these guys, and you could see, even though it was, don't have a say, mate, just sing the songs, you could see that things were just starting to unravel. John Farnham was just too big for the Little River Band, and I think it was only going to be a matter of time, particularly when we get to the 3rd album of the 3, that things were just about to crack open. We've got a couple of songs from the Little River Band era. We've got We Too. Oh my God, this vocal is absolutely stunning. We've got Little River Band really know how to play. They also really know how to do backing vocals, and I think we've got a rare glimpse of time here when we sing a band and the lead singer come together in the way that this song absolutely is. We Too is an absolutely stunning song. and one I just had to include in this collection from John Farnham. When I get to LRB, I'll probably bring this song back because you can't talk about LRB and not the John Farnham era. But well and truly, it was a song that John Farnham was just born to sing. But things were really starting to unravel a little bit, and John thought, hey, no, you know, there's more to us than just this. And he said, actually, we're going to really ramp things up. We're going to bring some more keyboards in. We're going to put some pretty hard, edgier, rockier stuff in there, including the song Playing to Win. Now, I could only find an official clip of LRB doing Playing to Win. It's not that exciting. So I've got a live version of John Farnham. John Farnham wrote this song. Well, we think he did. There's some conjecture about who actually wrote it, because this was a massive song for the Little River Band, absolutely quite different for them. And John Farnham thought, now hang on a minute, no, I reckon I wrote this one. I'm going to take it with me and I embark on my solo career. And so Playing to Win, we got a live version of him with his band doing Playing to Win. But it was around 1985 that John Farnham decided to move on for the Little River Band. It didn't really work. I mean, it worked a little bit, but didn't really work that well. LRB would welcome Glenn Shorrock back at some point, but John Farnham, in the meantime, was going to get on to one of the albums in Australian music history. And boy, aren't we absolutely glad that this album got released. But we're going to talk about that album next time. But certainly up to this point, between 1968 and 1980, John had released 9 albums. So, you know what, in the period of 12 years, 9 albums in 12 years is not too bad. I must admit, I don't really know too many of these albums, really. When you think about John Farnham before that album, there were really a string of just songs that really just kept him in Australia's consciousness. But everything was just about to be blown wide open in just a few years' time. But we're going to continue on with the John Farnham story next time. But the clips of those 8 clips are in the description below. And I've also included my last video from John Denver. So if you want to recap on him, feel free. Well, that's it for today. Next time, we're going to continue on with the John Farnham story and that album and that song you just have to talk about when you talk about John Farnham. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.